Dear Frodo, you asked me once if I had told you everything there was to know about my adventures. While I can honestly say I have told you the truth, I may not have told you all of it.
Welcome to a film review of The Hobbit with the GlassBox Media team. I'm Alex, this is Sarah.
And I'm Craig.
So basically, what was your initial response to the film?
Well, we went to see it differently because I know you two went together. I mean, did you see it 3D or 2D?
We saw it at the IMAX.
Yeah. Oh right, so did I. So you saw it 3D at the
Yeah.
IMAX. Yeah. I thought it was great. I'm not a huge fan of the book, I'll be honest, because I find that you kind of start doing it, late primary school, early high school sort of thing. It's a bit of the kind of kiddie prequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But there's a lot of stuff I didn't really like in the book. But I have to say, I think again Jackson's done another fantastic job. The editing was great, the action was good. It's a really good film. Initial thoughts for me were really, really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I came out thinking it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because we went together, didn't we? We thought we'd go together. I have never seen a film on an IMAX screen, and neither had you. You had. You saw Avatar. Well, I hadn't, so the whole experience overall was, whoa, it's an IMAX and in 3D. But I think the film itself suited being in 3D. I don't think it was a stretch to have it in 3D. But my initial thoughts were, I hope it doesn't affect Lord of the Rings, and it doesn't try too hard to be a 3D film, because a lot of movies now in 3D, camera angles are different, lots of different shots are different, they're set up different, and I didn't want that because it would have affected the way the story is told, and he didn't do that, and that was brilliant.
Sometimes they'll be so obvious that they've
This is the 3D bit, yeah. There wasn't too much of it in there. I remember seeing there's a couple of girls sitting in front of me at the cinema, and there's a bit where some arrows get fired, and they were sort of ducking and putting their hands up. I remember seeing, sort of things like that, but it wasn't intrusive. I thought it was just quite subtly done, really. I thought that in itself was really good. I don't know whether or not it would be as good if you're watching it in 2D. I don't know, maybe I'll try that.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think it would take anything away from it to watch it in 2D, because the subtlety of the 3D element was so well put in there that I don't think it would really affect in a 2D format. We'll find out next year when it comes out on DVD.
Okay, so he's done 3 films. Do we think that's too many?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I purely see that as a moneymaker. I think because I've watched a lot of the cast interviews. I don't know if you've seen many of the cast interviews, or when they've been on TV and things like that. They've all kind of said, yeah, we got to the wrap party and he announced that there was going to be a 3rd one, and you can kind of see it on their faces and in which they say it. We didn't really think it needed to be in 3 parts, but they won't actually say that. There's just a feeling from even the cast that 3 are too many, and they're just stretching it out. Some
of the bits they added to it that I thought were quite nice touches. They sort of just harken back to some of the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
The bit where you've got, sort of Sauron sitting there, Galadriel, Elrond, and they're all talking about it. And
You didn't like that, did you?
No.
I like that, because for once Gandalf's on the back foot.
I, Bilbo Baggins. Perhaps it is because I'm afraid that it gives me courage.
Something moves in the shadows.
I found it is the small things that keeps the darkness at bay.
Do you know how old Christopher Lee is?
It's always in his 80s.
He's 90.
Got to be. He's got
Christopher
to be.
Lee's 90.
It's a good job they filmed all 3 in one go, then, isn't it?
That's crackers for him to, because I didn't think he was that old. I didn't think he was that old, but he's still fantastic in the films and that. But I thought, some of the casting they've got right has been absolutely fantastic.
Because I was saying to Alex about new ones. Obviously the new cast members that we haven't seen before, some of them have come straight out of only TV dramas, and they've come straight out into something as big as that. Do you think they coped? Because I think they were absolutely superb. I think they just went straight into their roles and did brilliantly.
The It Crowd, or the In-Betweeners, the guy that plays Bilbo is from?
No.
Is it from The Office?
The Office.
The Office. Yeah, I was saying In Between.
Something like I kind of sat there and I thought, I'm not so sure when I worked out who he was, but I can't fault him. He was very, very good.
Because I think Richard Armitage was absolutely superb as well, because he's only ever done a lot of period dramas on TV. He's the one who plays the Dwarf King, Prince.
Oh, Thorin.
I can never remember names.
The leader, yeah,
Thorin,
he was the best character.
I think he was very good. And I have to say that Aidan Turner, who played one of the dwarves, has only ever done like BBC dramas. Again, did superbly in his role. Yeah. And it was really nice to see Elijah Wood in there. And they didn't fake that. They actually had him back. And I really liked the start of the film. I thought that was really well done when they did the big bit. But I was picking holes in the film score as well, wasn't I? But what other things didn't you like, Alex? Is there anything in particular you liked or didn't like?
Like I say, I don't know, like, for me, my expectations were quite high. I mean, before I went to see the film on Facebook, people were like, oh, it's 10 out of 10, best film of the year. And then, like, I think, because I hadn't watched any of the trailers before that, so I was a bit empty as to my expectations. But, I don't know, I just didn't really live up to the hype on those cases. But
I was the other way around. I saw the trailer, I went in kind of thinking, it's the Hobbit, it's the lesser of the Tolkien sort of set up. You know, I never really liked the books much growing up, you know, and I haven't read it for years to be truthful, but, you know, I kind of never really liked that, so I kind of went in with a bit more of a sceptical view and came out thinking, actually, I felt really well entertained, I really enjoyed it, you know, I saw a load of my mates.
I did like it, it's like some scenes, like one scene that springs to mind that sort of dragged out a bit was when Bilbo and, what's his name?
Which one?
Gollum. They're playing the game. And that just seemed to go on and on. Didn't you think?
Well, I think that was too long.
That was actually the first scene they filmed in the whole movie. That was the first outing as him as Bilbo Baggins, and it was glaringly obvious that he was not comfortable in his character's skin at that point. And to chuck him in front of a CGI character, call it Andy Serkis for one better description. That must have been awful for him to do that. And there was, at the start of that scene, you could see a very, very slight hesitation in Martin while he was growing into Bilbo's skin. But I think, I'm with Alex, it went on for too long. They could have made that a lot more. And it wasn't, I don't think that was as intense as the meeting when Frodo met him. You know, when he first met Gollum, you know, there was a lot more intensity in it, there was a lot more friction, there was a lot, but this time around I didn't think that. I think it was, I don't know, but Gollum I think is just absolutely superb for CGI in this film. It's just second to none on that. That character alone has just developed immensely, but you're right, I think it went on too long.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I mean, we've all had a bit of time now over Christmas since we watched it, you know, has anyone's view of it changed? I mean, mine's still the same. I thought it was fantastic.
Is it like,
You started with, what was it, you gave it out of 10?
Well, we
gave it out of 5 to start off with,
so
didn't
I gave
we?
it 3 out of 5.
You gave it 3 out of 5. I did 4. I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
That's probably what I'd give it. I mean, you know, I
out of 10.
Out of 10 for me, it's a 9. You know, I think there were a few bits they could do. I never really overly loved the story anyway, but.
What do you reckon out of 10 then?
Out of 10, well, initially I would have said out of 6 out of 10. But now I reckon 7. I don't know, a week or so to think about it. I don't know, it's like, because I hadn't watched the trailers before the film, but then I watched them last night before we did this. And I'm watching back in, I can actually, that was quite good, that.
I think it will stand up well to a second and third viewing.
I'm actually going to see it again. I am actually going to watch it again with my mum. And my mother's never read The Hobbit, so it'd be very interesting to see what she thinks of the movie, and it'd be very interesting to think what I think. But I've actually lowered it even lower. I've put it down to only 5.5 out of 10.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, because I've picked massive hole in it. I'm giving it a lot more thought. I've picked holes in it.
I think it's a fantastic bit of cinematography. The effects are good, the plot's good,
visually,
the acting's good, the music's good.
No, the music scores are rubbish in this one.
I don't think you can really fault much. I mean, they could have, you know, I think it was 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
You could have probably knocked 40 minutes out of that quite comfortably and not really lost anything.
Yeah.
But the problem you've got is you've got a lot of real die-hard Tolkien fans that are going to kick off at whatever Peter Jackson does. The Tom Bombadil stuff, you know, I mean, didn't make an appearance in Lord of the Rings at all. There's no kind of real mention of sort of, you know, anything he did, you know, that he did in his wood, and I can see there's going to be a lot of people grizzled, but not that he's going to care. but
No.
there's going to be a lot of people grizzle about it if he doesn't make any appearances.
Because there's also like the because Guillermo del Toro, I think I only saw influences of him a few times in that film, given that the clout he's had with like Pan's Labyrinth and things like that. There was only essences of him, and I'm really rather hoping that a lot of his creativity will come through in the next two films.
But you know what's going to
Because
happen?
I love him as a director.
When it comes out on
anyway.
DVD, there'll be another 20 minutes of
Oh, yeah.
sequences that will cut.
Well, they'll do
extended,
two different versions.
the
like
extended
one,
director's, you know, cut. And
that's what they've done with the other films.
yeah, and the trouble is, ironically, as soon as they came out on DVD, I brought them all. When the director's extended cut came out, I brought them all. When the Blu-ray versions came out, I brought them all. You know, so again, from a marketing point of view, I absolute marketing dream on that. But you know, it's because
I patiently waited for the box set of the extended versions before that.
I love the you know the films that much, and for me, the Lord of the Rings saga is my all-time favourite for sort of set films.
See, I'm gonna probably watch it again, and I won't be quite so brutal on it, and just sit and watch the movie. And I'm also going to be watching it in 2D, so that's going to be different.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Yeah.
And I'm going to be resisting the temptation to say it was better in 3D, because obviously I need to appreciate it in whatever format and see that. But I did really enjoy it. I really did enjoy watching it. I didn't feel bored. I didn't look at my watch at all. I loved the IMAX screen. I think that's brilliant. But I won't suit every movie. But I've just been really nitpicky with my score. If I put everything aside, I'd give it a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. If I took all the real errors.
So you're kind of going from 5.5 to.
Well, 5.5 is me. 5.5 is me being no, but that's me being extremely brutal. Is the 5.5. But I'd say 7.5, 8.
I think it's been a really good job. You know, the question is, will the others be as good? I thought the stuff with Smaug was fantastic.
Gotta wait. We're waiting too long for them, I think.
No, I like the
as
fact
they're
that
already
they
done. That should be straight out in July. Why wait till Christmas?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I hate the fact that they could have out in July and then January the following year and job done. But no, because they're going to compete with Star Trek and they don't want to do that. There's definitely much. I think that's the other bugbear is the fact that it's 3 parts, and in the interim period you've got all the Marvel films coming out. You've got the next instalment of Star Wars, you've got the next instalment of Star Trek, and they're going to drag it out so they can get the most amount out of the box office, and I don't like that anymore.
No, there's not any Star Wars one, do you mean Star Trek?
No, there's another Star Wars.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's in production.
Oh yeah, I mean...
No estimated time of arrival, 2014.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll be out before the next one of them is. But yeah, I know they've given it to Disney, which is a whole other discussion.
We're not even going on that one because I'll be off.
But no, on the whole, I thought I think it was a very, very good film.
Well, we're going to leave with the second trailer, aren't we? Because we've got one trailer already that everybody's seen, but we're going to leave with the second trailer. And if you haven't seen The Hobbit already, I believe it's out for another week in certain cinemas, but it's well worth watching on the IMAX. But if you can't afford the £12.50 ticket, then I suspect it'd be perfectly fine in 2D as well. But thank you very much for watching. See you all later.
Why did you come?
I know you doubt me. I know you always have. I often think of Bag End. That's where I belong. That's home. You don't have one. It was taken from you. But I will help you take it back if I can.
We'll reclaim our homeland.